For as long as I can remember, they've been telling us to enjoy it while they're young, but our days are filled with chaos and stress and cooking and endless laundry piles. Where's the time to enjoy it? Yeah, that's what I always thought too. There's so much I have to do. When do I find time for peace and joy and happiness when I barely have time to sleep? Mama, it's time to make shift happen. You can be a happy mom. If I can, you can. Trust me. I've been a mess, I've been depressed, I've been overwhelmed, I've been to the bottom of the pits, and I've risen, I've grown, I've bloomed, and it all started when I realized I didn't have to anything. I get to. It is my privilege and my honor and my divine responsibility to be the queen of my home. It's not a burden. I'm not a burden. I'm in charge. I'm the ruler. I'm the chaos coordinator. I'm the calm in the storm, and so are you. Come with me. Let's rise, mamas. Adjust your crown, accept your responsibility, change the effing world together. It's all in the way we choose to see it. I'm so glad you're here, friend. You're listening to Meant to Bloom with Brittany Clarkson. Hey guys, today's episode is one I have been trying to record for a while now. I've been putting it off to the point where I didn't even upload this episode on my regular upload day. And usually I try to be like a week ahead on my recordings, but I am not with this one. And it's probably because today I'm not just straight up teaching you something. I'm not interviewing someone else. I'm not, it's not an easiest thing to talk about. Because today I kind of want to personally tell you about where I'm at, what I'm doing, what my life looks like right now. And I thought a life update would be really fun to tell you about. And now I'm feeling super vulnerable and just reluctant to talk about it. So here we go. We're having a girlfriend chat today. Grab your coffee because, whew, but there's something, I'm not just here to vent. Of course, I'm going to give you insight into how I'm handling a lot of the things we're going through. So we have been, first of all, house hunting, and that has been challenging in and of itself. It is frustrating. We are at a point where we know exactly what we want, and we want to move into the right house, and we're ready to do that. Like emotionally and financially, we're totally ready. But now we're facing the whole when are we going to find the right place? And we thought we found it immediately when we started looking, and we went and looked at a house, and we put it in an offer, and we got beat on an offer because someone else put in an offer on the same exact day. House had been up for a whole month, no offers, and we both put in an offer on the same day, and ours was the lowest. So we're the backup offer, and they've been processing this house for 45 days now. It's been a while, and we're still just the backup offer. Like, it could still happen, but it's not likely, and it's been emotionally tough to be in this waiting, and no other perfect home has shown up for us in this waiting. And, it's one of those, like, we're checking realtor.com every single day. We have a realtor who we're working with who's, looking for someone to be listing the right house for us and all that. And so it's a lot of waiting and trying not to be anxious in the waiting and trying to love my current home in the waiting, knowing like we don't want to be here anymore. We If you don't know, I've mentioned this before, but in case you don't know, we live in a 1925 fixer-upper. Like, this house has been under renovation for 25 years. It was the house I grew up in. My dad was renovating it when I was a child, and then we decided we're gonna take over and finish the renovation because it shouldn't be that hard. Like, we could do this. We had a plan, and life happened, and the plan did not happen. And now we are to a point where we're just like, "Okay, we don't wanna do this anymore." We are not DIYer people. Like, we are totally capable of it. We don't like to pay someone else to come in and do something we could do ourselves, but also we've got to face facts that we don't want to do this. It's not where we want to be spending our time. We have big hopes, big dreams, big things we want to do, and really renovating this house is not one of them anymore. So, yeah, I'm just tired of not having a master bathroom because my master bathroom right now, like, I'm looking at it. I'm sitting in my bedroom looking into my master bathroom, and it is just it's a framed room. It's empty. Um, like, we're still waiting on the drywall. There's no trim anywhere in the house. It's just there's so many things that need done, you know? And then the things that were good when we moved in at this point, like the roof, it's like it needs replaced now. It's just have you ever seen Tom Hanks' movie Money Pit? That's what we're looking at. Um, we did a lot of things to it. We added an HVAC system, we added a pellet stove, like we fixed a lot of heating, we did a lot of insulation. Um, yeah, we did some remodeling, we did some new walls, but it's just not done yet, and it's exhausting. We've been here for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in June. So, that's insane to me. We moved in the week before my second child was born. So, it's been chaos from the beginning, kind of. Um, so yeah, it's it's emotionally and mentally a lot. Um And being grateful for where I'm at, while I know I don't wanna be here anymore, has been a challenge, and it's almost exhausting to practice gratitude for this and to be present where I'm at right now when I know where I'm at is not where I'm meant to be. Well, my husband and I both feel this calling to go somewhere else, to just get up and move and be somewhere else. You know, when we envision our kids' childhood, we're not like really picturing it here anymore. There was a time where I clearly saw my children's childhood happening here in this house on this property. And now when I try to picture my kids older than they are right now, I can't see it here anymore. Like my oldest is 6. And when I'm trying to picture him as like a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, I can't see it here anymore. I see it somewhere else. And I don't want to totally describe it because it's kind of a personal vision of mine. But I have I have that dream place in mind and I'm holding on to that vision. And the fact that it overlaps with my husband's, it's powerful and it's going to happen. And we're just in the waiting. The waiting is the toughest part. It really is. But I know that not getting that first place has to mean something, right? Because there are unexpected blessings that happen when things don't work out the way we wanted. And I am just eager for it and excited for it and waiting for it and ready for it. I'm just ready for this season of waiting to be done. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to not be just wrapped up in anxiety over it. So I am practicing anti-anxiety practices very, very often.
Yeah.
Now, one of the ways I am managing my stress lately, now this is something I've been doing for a really long time, like a couple of years, but I recently started calling it um, a cleansing breath. Okay, so I talk about breathing all the time. Now, there's a lot of methods you can use for breathing. Okay, I mean, obviously it's inhale, exhale, right? Duh. But but as far as breathing to calm down, there's a lot of ways to calm your nervous system, and the goal is to take in as much air as possible, hold it, and let it out, and hold for a moment, like really slowing it down, becoming conscious of the breath, and breathing very intentionally. Now, there is this one breathing method that I was introduced to years ago, um, and I misunderstood what it was, like the method behind it. It was a 4-7-8, and the original plan for that I misunderstood. You're supposed to apparently breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I misunderstood this because I am a dancer, and so when I heard 4, 7, 8, breathe in 4, hold 7, exhale 8, I immediately just viewed it all as an 8 count. So instead, I am breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, holding 5, 6, 7, breathing out on 8. Um, and this is something that I told my therapist about when I realized I was misunderstanding it, and this was like ten years ago maybe? Um, like it's like 7 years ago. It doesn't matter. Um, but I've been breathing this way for a very long time. And my therapist was like, "Yeah, it's fine if you misunderstand. You don't have to do it perfectly." And this is what I really took away from that is as long as the way you're breathing is calming you down, it's the right way to do it. All right, there's no wrong way to breathe. Obviously. And so I've always done that 4, 7, 8 breath. But like 2 years ago, when I really started paying attention to my mindset and realizing that stress is a choice, I started adding in the second element, which makes this a cleansing breath. When I exhale on that 8, I envision releasing stress from my body. I envision releasing the tension. I allow my whole body to relax. I like literally envision stress distancing itself from me as I exhale. And that has been one powerful thing I have done to ease anxiety every time I notice it coming up. This cleansing breath of mine. So try that out. It's powerful. Another thing I do pretty often to help with the anxiety in a season like this. So, I guess before I tell you that, it's not just house hunting and being frustrated with where we are, and leaning into the gratitude and the now, while also looking to the future. We recently switched schools for my kindergartner. And so that was like a whole ordeal. There was phone calls I had to make, people I had to meet, and that alone was stressful for me. Having to like switch around schedules and things to make it work because the timing was different. And, like I pick him up early once a week for his play therapy sessions, and I have to call the school every single time to remind them I'm coming to pick him up. And like that is stressful for me because, phone calls are hard. They really are. And I'm having to make a lot of phone calls now. And so, right, of all the things I can complain about is talking to people that stresses me out. And here I am hosting a podcast. I'm talking to you right now. But it's a lot easier when it's pre-recorded. Talking live is it's different. So if you're struggling with the simple task of making phone calls, I am right there with you. It's it's common. We do that. It's fine. It's fine. We're all like that. It's something to work through. We just keep getting stronger every time. Maybe eventually we'll be desensitized to the stress and anxiety of making a phone call. Maybe someday. Um, but so we're doing that house hunting, and then we switched schools, and now like my kid really likes the school and it's really good for him, and we're like, okay, so now we want to stay in the school district. That kind of can find our search a little bit too. Or we deal with the stress of moving out of the school district and having to deal with a new school. Um, Relearning everything. My kid is having anxiety problems, just like me. So now I'm going over through this hurdle now that we've kind of pinpointed like where his issue is. Um, and we're pretty much calling it anxiety at this point, which I'm very familiar with. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is the best way to teach my kid how to overcome anxiety? So I will share some of that with you in the future. Let me know if you're interested, and I will expedite that episode. But that'll be coming down the line at some point. Is helping your kid through anxiety because man, if there's one thing I can teach my kid, how to overcome anxiety, how to work through anxiety, how to still show up even when you're anxious, how to not let anxiety like ruin your life and stop you. Man, that's a powerful tool to have, right? Talk about, social skills for life. Anxiety management's a big one. So breathing, obviously, we work through that with my kid. I just told you about how I 4, 7, 8 breathe, release the stress Stress is a choice. You don't have to hold on to the stress. Um, that's definitely helpful for me. Another um, another exercise for anxiety management and stress management that I've been really utilizing in this season is brain dumping. I went a while without brain dumping because I was just kind of, I don't know, I didn't need it for a while. A lot of things were on autopilot, a lot of things were not stressing me out, and I was able to journal on pinpointed whatever my issue was. And then it just kind of felt like everything got heavy all at once. Um, and it was sort of reminiscent of that feeling of drowning that, used to be my norm. And it had been a long time since I've really felt that way. So having that extra like pressure and that heaviness coming into my life with so many things changing, so many things up in the air, so much like hope and disappointment and waiting and just everything all at one time. It felt heavy and it felt like a lot. And also trying to like show up and teach you and coordinating a lot of interviews and appointments and all kinds of stuff because mom life, business life, wife life, all of it was just happening at one time, and it was a lot happening. It is a lot happening. um it's a busy season, and it came out of a very slow season. All right. I went through that very, very slow season through the holidays. I was very intentional about being slow. And then it's like all of a sudden, whoa, it sped up and I had no control over the speed up. And that's okay. But brain dumping has been big because I just write down everything that's swimming around in my head. And it can be so helpful to just see everything that's taking up space, whether it's, negative thoughts or things to do and so many things. I went like a long time without having a to-do list because I got sick of having a to-do list. I was like, I'm constantly telling myself what to do, and I hate being told what to do, even when it's me telling me what to do. And I just decided I'm not going to keep a to-do list anymore. If it's important, I'll get to it. If it's not important, then I'm just hurting myself by looking at it written down on a piece of paper, like screaming at me, hey, you should be doing this, even though I don't want to and I don't really feel like I need to. Like, if it needs to get done, it's going to get done. So I quit keeping the to-do list for a really long time, and that's something that I've recently gone back to doing this like last week because there was a lot of things that really did need to get done and I needed to make sure they were prioritized correctly. Um so I started keeping a little micro to-do list again, aside from just like my priorities and my planner. I just broke down a sheet of paper and was like, this is just my to-dos, and I don't want it where I see everything all of the time. Um, I wanted to have a to-do list, but not have it be getting in my way. I didn't want it to run my life. And I just kind of broke it down into like 5 sections. And each day I just gave myself like 5 little checkpoints and was like, these are the priorities. These are the things that must get done today. And I really was able to stay on top of that because 5 was not too many. And, there's one thing on that to do list that did not get done. And this was last week I'm talking about. And that was recording this episode for you. But I'm getting to it now. Uh, So, yes, stress is a choice, my friend. And I chose not to stress about this episode, knowing it will come out in the right timing when it is meant to. And sorry you had to wait like a day for it. Yeah, sorry you had to wait so long. But it's fine because I know a lot of you don't listen to it the second it comes out. I can see when you're listening. I just can't see who's listening when, just so you know. Um, but yeah, there it is. That's kind of our big life update of what's going on is, you know, I'm looking for that new house. We are navigating school. We are navigating childhood and adulthood anxiety over here. Trying to keep like our budget down because wanting to buy a home, we're just trying to like really build up that down payment savings of ours. So we're cutting corners on finances everywhere we can, trying to save a little bit here and there to stockpile that and have a bigger down payment so that that transition can be easier when it happens. Um, but it's exciting, and choosing not to let it be a stressful season, even if it is busier than I like and fuller than I like. It's full. It's not busy, it's a full season. So, thank you for being here alongside me for this, friend. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode of Meant to Bloom. It really does mean the world to me. But are you ready to take this a step farther? Check out the description below of this episode and grab your mindset makeover. It's totally free, my gift to you. Then hop on Instagram and let me know what you thought of this episode. Tag me at Britt Clarkson, that's BritClarkson. If any part of this resonated with you, please let me know by tagging me or leave a review and share on social media so other mamas can find this too. If it helped you, it's gonna help someone else. You're part of a movement now. Let's go.